to left, and we're just about ready to get underway. The official out there making sure everything's okay. Signaling to both goalkeepers to make sure they're ready. Goalkeeper for Brandeis is still working a little bit at his goal line with some of his paraphernalia down there. And we're just about ready to go.
Okay, everybody really excited. There's so much anticipation over there in the stands. People waving their arms, trying to keep warm. It's a beautiful sun-drenched afternoon here in Wheaton, Illinois. And the Crusaders and the judges go for it all.
Little change of plans here. The Crusaders are taking the kickoff then to begin this game. In the middle to take it is Mark McDonald and Andy Taylor. Two scoring threats for the Crusaders, and there's the whistle, and the game is underway. Andy Taylor takes it immediately back to sweeper back Dave Cowie, who settles it and takes some time. Puts it back to goalkeeper Dan Matthews. So all the way back to the goalkeeper, just seconds into play. He picks it up, and there's Dan Matthews' drop kick. His powerful one, long, 60, 70-yard kick right into the other box, headed up by their sweeper back and out towards the far sideline. Battling hard for it is Paul Helseth on the far side. There's a whistle, and they say Helseth came on a little too strong there, pushing a little bit. So they take the free kick on the far side, just put it up across the far sideline. Inside to the middle, battling hard. Dave Wolf comes back to help out, strips the man from behind and turns it up the field.
Right there you can see the judges looking for Bolka, one of the big scorers, right in the middle, trying to control, trying to get some kind of shot off. And it was Dave Wolf with a fine defensive play, sneaking out from behind, through the back door, and stripping him of the ball. Now Wheaton has a free kick.
Dave Cowie will be taking it for them. Takes a short one up the middle, right to Andy Taylor. Taylor trying to pop it all the way back to Ed Metters. Bradnick comes over and helps out. Metters, two men rushing hard, puts it up to Wolf. Good 1-2 passing here by the Crusaders, right up the near side. And it goes over the sideline, however, as Bradnick chases it down. Throw-in for the judges. Judges take it on the near side. They're tripped up by Jamie Bradnick on the near side. There's a whistle. Rough physical game so far for the first few minutes. They take it down the far corner, rushing hard. Metters to keep it in play, and it's a corner kick already.
So the judges taking the offensive incentive early, pushing it down with Bolka and Steinberg. Again, the offensive threat down the left wing, forcing a Wheaton mistake, and now it's going to be a corner kick for Steinberg.
Okay, so they're taking it on the near side. Just awaiting the kick. There it is. It's back right in front of the goal. Headed up, still in play. Way out to the near side now. It was headed out by a defender. I couldn't see who quite he was over the sideline. And it is throw-in for Brandeis.
That defender was Pete Belsky all the way back from his offensive wing position. He made a fine play.
Actually, they're saying there was a push there right at the line, so it's a free kick, almost like a corner kick now, from the same spot. They kick right in towards the goal. There's the skim head ball. And Dave Wolf manages to come up with it for the Crusaders and knock it downfield. Running hard for it's Randy Felder. Felder's tripped up, but no whistle there. And on the far side, with a nice defensive play, is Peyton Gibson, fullback from Brandeis. So they bring it upfield, and it comes all the way up to Dan Matthews, goalkeeper for Wheaton. And he takes that long, quick drop kick, looking for the break. And it goes all the way down to the opposing goalkeeper. Nobody touches it, goalkeeper to goalkeeper. That's David Cedar, he's a sophomore goalkeeper. And picking it up, they take it to the near side. Pushing up the near side for them is number 4, Steve Stone. Stone puts it back over to the far side. And a nice play by Jamie Bradnick on the near side. A nice slide tackle, puts it out. And we'll have the second corner kick now for Brandeis. Jamie Bradnick coming over making a nice slide tackle, but had to put it over the far end line just to save the play. So this is the second corner kick for Brandeis. First one was a nice kick, but again, a nice defensive play by Wheaton.
Steinberg to take it. He has a couple steps, getting everybody ready in the box area as the judges have come out on fire looking for something, that early goal that could set the tone for the entire game.
He approaches the ball. There's a kick high right in the middle of the box, and Matthews comes out and takes command.
That's Chris Hegman in goal. Excuse me.
Oh, I'm sorry. Glad you're with me. Chris Hegman, getting them too confused. Matthews who started for the Crusaders last year, but Chris Hegman coming in and doing a fine job this year for the Crusaders. So Chris Hegman playing goalkeeper. And again, Hegman takes it all the way down to their captain, goalkeeper, Jim Leahy. So it's, again, that strong foot of Chris Hegman that puts it all the way downfield. Here's the Crusaders with the rush in towards the box. Mark McDonald and Pete Bowski, they both have defenders on them, however. Mark McDonald has to slow it up, and it's taken away from him in the corner.
Nice defensive play by David Mishall, a sophomore out of Springfield, Massachusetts, as he just stripped Mark McDonald of the ball down there.
Crusaders come up with it again. Pete Falsky on the near side chips it in towards the box, looking for Steve Shannon rushing hard. Shannon can't get a good head on it. It goes straight up in the air. Both teams battling. Felder goes up with it with a defender. There's a shot by Shannon. Nice shot, left foot from the side, but a nice save by Jim Leahy.
Tremendous drive by Shannon. The ball was still hopping up in the air. He kind of just turned and quick with the left foot, drilled a shot. The first shot on goal in the ball game. And Leahy had to go up in the air and squeeze it between his hands. It was definitely a chance for a goal.
So both teams playing very hard and evenly matched right here. Crusaders with a free kick right in the middle of the field. They take it quickly. Dave Wolf takes a shot from about 30 and it's deflected. A nice hard shot as it comes all the way over the sideline on the deflection and out of bounds.
Misshole again with the deflection, looking like he'll be a defensive force to reckon with for the judges.
So we've got Dave Cowie with the ball. Cowie making a run up the field. He's open in the box. He's got 3 men converging on him, and the defenders managed to clear it upfield.
Nice play by number 6. That's Jim McCulley, a junior out of Orleans, Massachusetts. A lot of Massachusetts ball players, mostly East Coast players for Brandeis. And he came up big there, beating Cowie to the loose ball.
Jeff Steinberg pushing down the far side for Brandeis. He has control. Metters coming up and knocking it further downfield. Helseth coming to help. Keeps it from going over the end line and another corner kick. So Helseth has control. Turns it upfield, kicks it up to right up at midfield. Ball headed up straight up in the air and over the far sideline. And the official says it's a throw-in for Brandeis. Crowd doesn't like that call.
No, it's going to be a free kick, it looks like, because they say Randy Felder was up on Peyton Gibson's back as they leaped high in the air for the head ball.
So they kick it in towards the center, looking for Steinberg, but Helseth is there. Helseth knocks it upfield for the Crusaders. Over to the far side, challenging hard is Mark McDonald. Both men go down, and it's a throw-in for the Crusaders. So Mark McDonald takes it on the far side.
Throw-in for Wheaton.
A little mix-up there. Mark McDonald thought Steve Shannon was coming over to throw and threw it to him. And Steve Shannon caught the ball, so we call a hand call on the inside.
That was a little crazy. The team's a little disorganized, a little nervous about being in a national championship. This is a first for the Crusaders as well as for Brandeis. And here they come flying down the right wing.
Dave Cowie again coming all the way from the sweeper back position up to the far right wing to make that play. He's really pushing hard in this game.
About the 20-yard line.
So Cowie still with the ball up near the corner. He chips it into the center looking for Wolf. Wolf has control, but several men on him. Drops it off to Taylor. Taylor chips it into the box, but nobody there. And goalkeeper Leahy picks it up. So Brandeis with control. Helseth comes up from his position and takes the ball away. Helseth with control in the middle of the field. Leaves it off to Andy Taylor. Taylor inside to Shannon. Back out to Taylor. It's knocked around inside right in front of the penalty box. Kicked up high in the air. 2 men go up for it. Nobody gets it, but Felder comes out with it for the Crusaders. So Wheaton coming up with the loose balls a little bit more often than Brandeis maybe. And Mark McDonald is knocked down from behind, but no whistle.
He was just tackled by number 6. I don't know what they were thinking about right there.
So Brandeis pushing the ball up the field now. Past midfield, Jamie Brabnick hawking him closely. They put it to the near side, to their wing, Greg Allen. Allen with Wolf beats Wolf into the box. Shannon comes over to help out, and Andy Taylor clears it upfield. Taylor to Falsky. Falsky coming from the far side. He's got the ball, but he's got 3 men to contend with. He's going to take him 1-on-3, trying to beat around him with a nice play. He's tripped in the box. And is there a whistle on that? Again, no call.
I can't believe that. Falsky just made a tremendous move to beat 3 men. He's played extraordinary soccer here in the playoffs this year and just got totally wasted inside the box with no call.
Officials are a little more hesitant on calling those inside the box, but they need to be consistent throughout the field.
Wow, that really got the fans angry. And Felsky's limping a little bit. He went down hard, and this ground is really hardening because it's so cold.
That was a surprising play. Pete Falsky was off way over by the sideline. You almost didn't even see him, kind of blended in with the crowd. And then they quickly pushed it upfield, and Falsky just broke from nowhere for that ball.
It almost put the Crusaders on the board.
So the Crusaders with the ball on the far side of the field. They have a free kick. That's for Andy Felder taking it, puts it inside the Wolf. Wolf can't get his foot on it. Midfield seems to be a little bit open today. As the ball moves over the far side, it seems like both teams are bunching a little bit, and switching the field of play might be a crucial strategy here for either team today. So battling on the near side is Jamie Brabnick, and he strips Dov Beluka of the ball, but coming back up with it is Brandeis, and Cowie makes a nice trap, but driving hard into the box is Glenn Conlon. And coming over quickly is Ed Metters to knock it over the sideline.
Nice play by Conlon. He forced Dave Cowie to make a decision. Cowie had to go down on his knees to make the trap, and Conlon picked up a loose ball and almost got a shot on net. But Eddie Metters, good hustle, the junior out of Jackson, Mississippi.
So the throw-in will be taken by Brandeis. Long thrown right into the box. Coming over is Ed Metters to make a play. And Andy Taylor comes up with it for Wheaton. Play within the box. It's taken away. Chris Hegman has to come over quickly as an oncoming offensiveman was coming in, but Hegman maintains control of the ball.
Ed Metters is another fine defensive play there. And teaming up with Paul Helseth this year, they have been such tremendous forces back there on the defensive end. And guys like Helseth and Metters, because they don't score, because they're back on the defensive end, don't get a lot of ink. But you can't say enough about those two, along with Jamie Brabenek. They've just held the Crusaders together all season long.
Quick 1-2 pass here. Nice head ball by Dave Wolf to lead past Mark McDonald. Mark McDonald into Felder in the box. Felder's got several men swarming on him. There's a whistle, and it is an obstruction in the center of the penalty box. We're only about 12 yards from the goal, so this is going to pose an interesting play.
Now, the crowd just love that one. They finally got the call that they're looking for, and now everybody bunching up down there. The entire Brandeis team is in a wall almost, and it's going to be tough to get a shot on net. Let's see what the Crusaders have up their sleeves.
Okay, the ball is just about 3 feet or 2 feet beyond the penalty mark. It's an indirect kick, however, so 2 men have to touch the ball. They've got the entire team lined up as a wall, and there it is, a shot, and it's a goal!
Dave Cowley! Yes, and the Crusaders lead at 1-0 here in the NCAA Division III National Championship game.
A crucial play coming for the Crusaders early in the first half as they got a free kick there. What happened was Brandeis set a wall right in front of the goal. Not much else they could do. They had about 6 men in front of the goal, and therefore the goalkeeper who was behind him was kind of screened. He couldn't see the ball coming, so he played off to the right side of the net so that he could see the ball. Well, Andy Taylor taking that shot, I believe it was Andy Taylor, crushing it hard and kept it low to the ground, went right through the feet of the wall, so the wall might have been the problem there. But right through them, and then right past the diving arms of Jim Leahy and into the net. So the Crusaders lead 1-0 here in the championship game of the NCAA. We're waiting to see who the credit of the goal goes to.
The goal was scored by Dave Cowley, the senior sweeper back, who just did everything right as he hit the ball perfectly low so the goaltender could barely get a hand on it. We're waiting to see who the assist is by because it happened so fast right around the ball in a free kick area.
Okay, so Cowley credited with the goal. As play resumed here, the ball's taken all the way down to the Crusader end of the field, and Jamie Brabenek is pushed. So we have a free kick on the sideline on the defensive end for the Crusaders. Brabenek taking it, keeps it low to the ground, looking up for Wolf, but it goes past him. The pass not quite as accurate as Jamie had hoped. And Brandeis crosses it all the way to the far side of the field looking for their wing.
We do have the assist on that goal. It was David Wolf, the junior from Wheaton, who has really come on here. He scored a goal in the last ball game against Keene College, now with a nice assist on Dave Cowley's goal. Crusaders lead at 1-0, a big, big strike.
Okay, in the center of the field, Dave Wolf with the ball. He loses it, however, quickly to Allen for Brandeis, and he puts it upfield to Bulka. Bulka challenged by Brabenek. They're just playing tough over there. A real physical battle between Bulka and Brabenek on the near side. That time they call Brabenek for the push. So we'll have a free kick for Brandeis. This is even with the penalty box, but about 10 yards off the side. Allen with the shot. Nice chest trap there by Pete Falskis. He jumps up to deflect the ball.
We have about 33 minutes left in the first half. The Crusaders lead at 1-0 on Dave Cowley's 5th goal of the season from Dave Wolf.
Pushing it upfield, Crusaders knock it up far upfield to buy some time, but taking control is Brandeis as no Crusaders are there to get the ball. They take it all the way back to the goalkeeper, Jim Leahy, who punts it right up towards midfield. A nice skim head ball there by their halfback. And then Allen takes control on the near side. Allen up to Steinberg. Steinberg for Brandeis, pushing it in towards the box. Metters comes over. And we have a call on Metters there, as Steinberg and Metters both went down on the ground. So here we have a free kick just outside the box, off to the corner by Brandeis. This could be a critical play for them.
Big matchup to watch with Bulka against Brabenek and Steinberg against Metters here in the offensive end.
Allen chips it right into the box, going up high for it, coming over Steve Shannon. And we have a push on Brandeis. So we'll have a free kick for the Crusaders in their own penalty box coming out.
You have to give the judges credit, though, Scott. They've been in the Wheaton offensive end, or defensive end, excuse me, the judges' offensive end quite often this afternoon. And something unusual, like you mentioned before, is that there's a lot of open space in midfield. And usually when Wheaton plays, it's really bunched up in midfield, and especially since the tournament has started. But the Crusaders have gotten what they wanted, the ball control kind of game with a lot of space in the middle, and they've taken advantage of it, leading 1-0. We're about 30 minutes left in the first half.
So the ball being knocked around at midfield now. Paul Helseth comes over for Wheaton. Helseth with controls, making a run up the field. Tries to pass it to a lead pass to Mark McDonald's deflected. Andy Taylor comes up with it, however, and chips it looking for Cowie. Cowie coming up from behind out of his sweeper position, but Brandeis knocks it upfield, trying to buy some time there. Metters takes it all the way back to goalkeeper Chris Hegman.
Something interesting to watch, when Cowie does make those runs, Ed Metters drops back into the sweeper back position, and one of the halfbacks drops back to help out defensively. So it's just like a shift, and they don't lose anything defensively. They just add the power of Dave Cowie up front.
So with the throw-in on the near side is Pete Falski. He throws it in looking for Mark McDonald, but he loses control. Steinberg with control with a quick 1-2 pass with Balka. Balka and Steinberg moving up the field now in towards the penalty box, but Balka loses control, and Helseth passes it upfield to Felder. Felder loses it over the sideline as he's attacked there by one of the defenders, and we'll have a throw-in for Brandeis on the far side of the field. Brandeis trying to put it in towards the corner. Helseth knocks it right back over the sideline, and the judges from Brandeis will have another throw-in. Taking the throw-in over there on the far side, right amidst the crowd, is Dan Grondin. He takes the throw right in towards the box there. Going up for it, they head it right into the center. Metters coming over to head it up. But again, no one with control. It's bobbled around in the box. They take a shot off, but a dribbler, Chris Hegman, scoops it up.
Steve Stone, a sophomore out of Northport, New York, got the shot off, the first shot on goal against the Crusaders, unless you count the corner kick, which looped into Chris Hegman's hands. But Hegman was equal to that one, and we're still Wheaton 1, Brandeis nothing.
Again, another whistle, and several calls in the middle of the field for some pushing, a little bit tripping, that call. So both teams going all out for this victory today. And as a result, play's been a little bit more physical than in the past. So ball being knocked around at midfield. Wolf comes up with control of the ball. Tries to do a 1-2 with Andy Taylor, but they lose it. And they take it over to Balka on the near side. Balka with Brabenik on him. Up to Steinberg. Steinberg and Metters battling it out in the near corner. Steinberg still with control, however. Metters right on his back, not letting him turn around. Trying to pass it through Wolf. And they say Metters took Balka down right in front of the box.
Great job by Metters. He just shadowed Steinberg the entire time. But then they said he dumped him late. It was even after the pass. So I don't know, a little shaky call there. But it does pay off for the judges as they get a free kick about 8 yards outside of the box.
So several nerve-wracking plays here. Crusaders with a four-man wall now. Here's Brandeis with an opportunity to score on a free kick. These are dangerous plays. They take a quick pass up to the wall, and it goes over, we're going to call a corner kick. What happened was they had Steinberg standing on the far side of the wall. They just took the pass to him, and he tried rolling off the wall and taking a shot. But Falski was there, and Falski managed to get a foot on it and put it over the end line.
Falski showing his defensive prowess down here. He's a wing offensively, but he comes down to help out whenever the Crusaders have a corner kick situation.
So they take a short corner kick, and Falski again with a nice slide tackle.
Tremendous play.
A little pushing and shoving between Balka, and they say Falski pushed him again. Falski not liking that call at all. He's getting mad as the pushing is really taking off between the two players. But the official was right there, and he called that on Falski.
With the graduation of Dave Cowie this year, Pete Falski might look to be a big defensive player next year for the Crusaders.
So they take another whistle on that play. Offsides, a nice defensive play by the Crusaders. As they had that free kick and chipped it in towards the box, the defensive line of the Crusaders pushed up, drawing them offsides. So taking the free kick, it's right in front of the goal out there, is Chris Hegman, the goalkeeper from Wheaton. He approaches the ball. Nice long kick right up in towards the center of the field. Steve Shannon goes up with it. Nice skim head ball up to Mark McDonald. McDonald controls it back to Andy Taylor. Taylor with a nice banana kick looking upfield to Felder, but it doesn't have enough on it. But Shannon comes over and takes control. Shannon to Taylor, and Taylor trying to get it up to Felder again, but it's cleared away by defender. The ball knocked upfield and out of bounds, and Wheaton has to throw in. Helseth taking it back to Cowie. Cowie with some footwork on the far side right in front of the stands. They like that. And he chips it upfield. Looking to McDonald. McDonald with control now. He's coming back against the grain with it, trying to pass it in towards the center of the field. Coming over is Andy Taylor. Taylor with control now, right at midfield strike. Up to Felder. Felder turns around. Into the far corner to Shannon. Shannon into the far corner now. Has it in the box, turns it around and crosses it. And nobody there for the head ball. There's a shot taken by Dave Wolf. Nice hard shot on the ground, but a save.
Good shot by Wolf. He split the 5-hole to defender, Greg Allen, and put it right on net through the screen. But Leahy was even to that one as he got down low and corralled the ball before it went into the back of the net.
So Dave Wolf taking a couple shots already in this game, something we like to see him do. Usually he's a little more hesitant trying to control it up a little bit closer to the goal, but he has a good foot, and that time taking the shot. With control is Brandeis at the center of the field. They chip it up in towards midfield, looking for Steinberg. He has control. Steinberg controlling the ball predominantly here for Brandeis. Up on the offensive end, but Shannon comes over and strips the ball clean. Shannon putting it up to the near side, looking for McDonald. McDonald doesn't come up with it, and Helseth comes out. So again, both teams driving hard for the ball. Helseth, who always... As it stands, the goal is signified as no good, and the Crusaders lead 1-0.
Not only that, but it was a work of art by Paul Helseth as he just made about 4 great moves and then hit this almost blind pass with a great touch. Kelsky had one man left to beat. He beat him and chipped it over the fallen goaltender, but no, the whole play is taken away by the referee. What a shame.
There still is a little bit of standing room left, not much, however, but if you're just a few people coming out, there's some room on the end lines where you can stand and watch the Crusaders battle it out with the judges from Brandeis, a team coming from the Boston area for this championship game of the NCAA Division III Soccer Classic. Ball taken up to the far side of the field now. Andy Taylor with control in the far corner, bringing it in towards the box, but a nice slide tackle there by number 6, Jim McCulley. It's taken away from him, however, by Steve Shannon on the far side. So ball being exchanged back and forth quickly, and the Crusaders have a throw-in on the far side near the corner. Looks like Andy Taylor will be taking it, puts it inside, looking for McDonald. McDonald turns it around in the box. He's got 3 men on him, and it's cleared away by Brandeis.
McDonald again taking it out hard, but that was a good clean tackle by the defender, and the referee was correct to let that one go.
Taken away by Dave Cowie on the offensive attack by Brandeis, and he knocks it upfield to Mark McDonald in the corner again. They're really working that far left corner hard today as the Crusaders try to push it in the corner and then cross it in front of the goal.
Here comes some substitutions. Checking in for the Crusaders, 2 fresh linemen. Number 9, Brian Well, the senior out of Des Plaines, Illinois. Probably the biggest, broadest Wheaton player. He offers a lot of power up front. And joining him will be Tom Engstrom, a junior out of Minnehaha Academy. Pete Felsky checks out, as well as Steve Shannon. So 2 fresh linemen for the Crusaders.
Also, there were 2 substitutions in the game for Brandeis, so an even trade there of fresh players for both teams. They have a goal kick coming out for Brandeis now. And taking that, they put it out to midfield, going up towards Andy Taylor, and he beats him, even though his stature's not quite as high. He puts it in towards the box, and fighting hard for it again is Andy Taylor as he chases it down. We have a whistle now, and we call a handball there on Andy Taylor, so a free kick for Brandeis.
Ball had a crazy spin on it, and it kind of bounced around between Dave Wolf and Andy Taylor, who were a little too close on that offensive thrust. So the Crusaders flagged for the penalty, and now the ball's in Brandeis' possession.
So Jim Leahy takes a punt upfield, coming over as Steinberg to get it. Steinberg not standing very tall, but he's built real solid, and so he's tough to contend with. However, he's tough for pushing on that one, and Jamie Brabennick will come over and take the free kick for the Crusaders right here in front of the penalty, or in front of the press box. Brabennick chips it right up into the front of the box, looking for Felsky. Felsky goes up hard, knocks it over to McDonald. Engstrom tries to take a shot, but it's deflected. And knocking it upfield for them with a semi-bicycle kick there is Michael Violette. And it goes over the sideline. Brabennick takes a throw in for the Crusaders into the near corner. And McDonald trying to cross it over, goes way over the end line and over the far fence.
Tough play for McDonald. The ball still hopping up in the air. The difficult spin to read, and he couldn't get his foot on it the way he wanted to, and he boots it over the fence. And now it'll be a goal kick for the Brandeis judges.
Something I've noticed, Todd, is the Crusaders bringing up the field. They're working the wings well, and they seem to be open there, having plenty of time to cross it into the center. But when they get it in there, they get control, and then there's at least 3 Brandeis defenders right on them every time, and they're having a hard time getting the shot off it. It appears as if Brandeis is slacking off a little on the wings, letting them cross the ball, but then when they get it in there, they're just collapsing immediately on the ball.
Yeah, it's interesting defensive strategy. And Brandeis is a scrappy team. They're not afraid to throw their nose in there, and it's going to be a very physical, aggressive game.
Breaking up the far side is Randy Felder, who's got a few men to beat, chips it into the center, and again, that big crowd in there. Taylor trying to chip it in towards the goal, and saved by Jim Leahy as the blooper shot just kind of landed right in front of the goal.
Taylor was trying to fool Leahy. Instead of drilling one, he tried to loop one in, see if Leahy couldn't see through the screen. Unfortunately for the Crusaders, Leahy was smart enough to play that well, and he grabbed the ball easily.
Cowie going up for a head ball, knocks it over the sideline, so we'll have a throw-in on the near side by their fullback, Steve Stone. He tosses it upfield, looking up the near side for Balka, but Brabennick heads it up on the offensive for the Crusaders. Brandeis gets control and crosses it way all the way over towards the stands, and it does go in amongst the fans over there, and Wheaton takes the throw in. Up to Helseth. Helseth coming out of his position from the backfield. He maintains control, turns it around, does a quick pass to Brian Wells. He knocks it upfield looking for Mark McDonald. McDonald challenging hard on the far side with David Michal on the far side. And Brandeis comes out with control. They push it up the field, looking up in the center, but Dave Wolf comes over and takes it. Wolf to the far side to Felder. Felder with the ball on the sideline. He's got one man to beat over there, but he doesn't. And Brandeis knocks it up into the stands again.
Hayden Gibson, a junior from the Bronx, New York, made a nice play there. It's something to look at for Brandeis' futures. They've got a bunch of young players, a lot of sophomores and juniors playing, so they should be good for years to come.
And there we had a cross by Andy Taylor, and again, goalkeeper Jim Leahy comes out of his position right in front of the goal and takes command of that one. So he's getting a lot of action today, goalkeeper Jim Leahy. Getting a lot of action, seeing that ball coming in towards the net. Not too many strong shots that pose that much of a problem for him, but again, he's still having that action there. Brandeis with a quick counterattack now. Steinberg coming up towards the box. He falls down. Looks like it hit his hand, but no call. He's putting it in towards the box. And coming over is Dave Cowie to make a quick play and knock it over the sideline. So on the far side, we'll have a throw-in for the judges from Brandeis. Right even with the penalty box. Crusaders drop all their men back into the box for the defense, except for Mark McDonald, who stays up just in case they get a little bit of a break.
Just under 20 minutes remaining in the first half as Michael Violetta, junior from Cumberland, Maine, will be taking the throw-in.
There's the throw, right in towards the near post. It's skin-headed right up in front of the net. Headed back in again, and just wide off the post, and a save by Chris Hegman.
That was incredible. A tremendous throw-in by Violette, and almost tied this ball game up as he hit three heads, and finally Steinberg tried to punch it home, but he didn't get a lot of power on it. It nicked off the inside of the post, and Chris Hegman was able to squeeze it. Wow, that was too close.
That had to make Hegman dizzy as the ball went all the way to the far side of the goal, headed back to the near side, and just back and forth in front of the goal mouth. But again, Hegman coming up with a nice save to maintain the score at 1-0. The Crusaders have that one-goal lead that is crucial in this game, and they're going to want to maintain at least a one-goal lead going into halftime.
So the judges falling behind by 1-0 has only given them a further drive to try to tie this ball game up, as they've really pushed offensively in the last 15 minutes. See if the Crusaders can put a second goal on the board and really douse the hopes of the judges.
Okay, as we talked, there was a whistle. It looks like we have a direct kick just outside the penalty box. Andy Taylor will be taking this. He usually bananas it around the wall. There it is, up towards the... and it's wide.
A little too much altitude on that one. He got it over top the crossbar. And Leahy did not have to make the save.
So the Crusaders looking for their second goal on the free kick. The first one coming off free kick by Dave Cowie. It was an indirect kick. Dave Wolf with the assist on that play. He drilled it right through the legs of the five-man wall they had posted in front of the goal and into the back of the net. So taking the goal kick will be Brandeis. They push it up the field, but right there is the Crusaders to head it back into play. Engstrom trying to knock it into the box with Taylor. It's knocked loose, but it's knocked over to the far side, and Taylor can't get to it as the goalkeeper was on the ground. But Crusaders couldn't capitalize on that play.
Big mistake by Leahy. Went to grab the ball. Instead, it went off his knees and ricocheted into the corner, and the Crusaders almost had a chance to put the second one in. But good defensive work by the judges helped save Leahy's mistake.
Coming up with the ball in midfield is Brandeis. Violette with the ball right here in front of us. He knocks it upfield. He puts it into the corner. Now Violette has control, but Brabennick comes over and knocks it over the sideline. So Violette will take the throw-in for Brandeis. Violette approaches the line.
He's got a good, strong throw-in. Puts it right into the box area, almost like a corner kick.
Official calls an illegal throw-in on that play, so the Crusaders will take the throw-in from the exact spot. We couldn't see whether he lifted his foot or there was spin on the ball, but nonetheless the official said it was not good, and the Crusaders take the ball.
Trying to get that extra inch out there in the box and see if they can get a goal. Violette fouls.
Pretty play here by Andy Taylor and Dave Wolf right in front of the box with the quick 1-2 passing. They're an excellent combination as far as passing goes, and Wolf switches the field of play to the far side to Weld. Weld bringing it back into the middle now, right in front of the box. And again, that just big bunch of defenders by Brandeis who just can't get a shot off. So with control is Dave Wolf now, right in front of the box. He again tries to switch it in the far corner to Felder, but it's intercepted by Allen. Allen driving downfield for Brandeis. Felder coming hard from behind, trying to make the play, but can't beat him to it. Ball slips through into the box, but nobody there for Brandeis, and Hegman comes out to take the ball.
Nothing but white and orange waiting for that ball to squeak through, and Hegman easily got the ball. No threat from the judges there.
Again, the Crusaders moving from left to right as we see the ball, as we see the play. Just under 20 minutes to play here in the first half. Score 1-0 in favor of the Crusaders. This is the championship game for Division III soccer in the NCAA.
Mike Violet.
Ball getting knocked high up into the air at center field. Both teams battling hard for it. Allen going hard, and Felder knocked over the near side, and Violette takes it for Brandeis. He knocks it upfield looking for Steinberg, but Metters comes up with it, and one touches it back to the goalkeeper, Hegman.
Score is now 1-0.
Hegman throws it out to Helseth on the far side. Helseth moving it up to midfield stripe, now looking to set up some offense. Puts it inside looking for Wolf. He comes up with it. So Wolf with control, switches it off to Andy Taylor. Taylor bringing it against the grain, looking for McDonald. McDonald into the box in the near corner. He's got one man on his back, battling hard. Still with him. McDonald trying to get around him. They're battling right on the end line. Still just head to head there. And he has to go back for some help to Jamie Bradnick. Bradnick right at the corner of the penalty box, trying to beat 2 or 3 men. Again, that big crowd of Brandeis defenders to get through, and he can't. So Brandeis comes up with the ball, and that's Allen with the charge upfield again. He's tall with long legs, and takes a quick break upfield to get into the box. That's Violette trying to get the shot off. Another shot by Steinberg right inside, and it's a goal. Dribbling right past. We can't see who put that in.
Steinberg got the goal. Just the Crusaders didn't hustle back on defense enough, I guess, and what happened was Greg Allen put it all the way down the field, made a nice pass to Peter Cherowitz, sophomore from Foxborough, who got a shot off. It was deflected by a defender right to Steinberg, who just rolled it into the back of the net, and we have a brand new ball game. We're tied at 1.
So that play, Hegman came out for that ball, but whether he lost sight or what, or it just bobbled around, and he couldn't get his hands on it before they're going to be coming out strong in the second half. But the score remains tied at 1. Coming up with the ball is Brandeis off a kick from Chris Hegman. They push upfield, looking to the near side to Boca, but Bradnick breaks it up. Violette with a head ball for Brandeis. They maintain control in the middle of the field. Taking over to the far side is Conlon. Conlon chipping over, looking for Allen. Allen has the ball right in front of the box with a shot. It's low and deflected by Dave Cowie. Knocked out by Steve Shannon. Shannon up to Daniels. Daniels, who's waiting for that ball, didn't quite get to it. He needs to come meet the ball. Daniels just kind of waiting for it, and someone comes from behind him and stripped him of the ball.
Greg Allen has played a super ball game for the judges, really pushing up every time he can, and also playing a super defensive game.
Ball being knocked over the far sideline, or rather we have a trip on the far side. So here we have a kick, even with the penalty box. This is comparable to a corner kick, however it's about 15 yards out from the end line. There it is, right low into the box, and Andy Taylor comes up, tries to knock it out, but he miskicks that one, and it's right still bobbled around in the box. Helseth comes over with a strong shot and puts it way upfield.
Nice job by Paul Helseth.
Running it down is Peyton Gibson. He's going to bring it back to the goalkeeper, Leahy. Leahy has come way out of his position to get that ball, as they kind of had a little miscommunication there, and Engstrom was right on the back of Peyton Gibson, ready to take that ball away if there was a problem.
Gibson's going to have nightmares about Engstrom after this ball game. He's just following his every move.
Crusaders with control. Some quick passing between Daniels and Andy Taylor. Daniels with control in the front of the box. He's got 2 men on him. Tries to put it to the far side to Engstrom. Goalkeeper comes out, and there's a whistle on that play. As the goalkeeper came out to get it, it was knocked clean from him, and the official signifying a corner kick. So another corner kick by the Crusaders. They need to capitalize on one of these and put it in the back of the net to get that 2-1 lead.
And again, Thomas Engstrom right, forcing Peyton Gibson to knock it out of bounds. Nowhere to hide. And here comes the corner kick.
Right out into the center of the box, going up towards Brian Weld, but again, Brandeis more aggressive, comes up with that head ball, and taking a shot off the kick was Dave Cowie, but it goes wide.
Crusaders exhorting themselves as a train goes flying by. Hope you enjoy that sound.
It appears, Todd, that on those corner kicks that the Crusaders have had so many of in the last few minutes, that Brandeis is just being a little more aggressive on them. They're coming out and going hard for that ball, and the Crusaders just need to get a little more height in there and need to go a little bit harder to put that ball in the net. Taking the goal kick is Brandeis up to Violette. Violette maintains control. He turns it upfield, goes over the sideline, and off the roof of the press box here. So we'll have a throw-in for the Crusaders right in front of us. Bradnick taking it quickly up to Wolf. Wolf trying to turn it around on Violette. Violette knocks it over the sideline, so Wolf will take the throw-in for the Crusaders.
Violette has been a stellar sub for the judges also.
one of the taller players out there, and he's a powerhouse in speed. Daniels with control in the middle of the field now. Tries to put it inside to Taylor, but the pass is just a little too crisp, and past Taylor, and the goalkeeper, Jim Leahy, picks it up. So with the ball, Jim Leahy, he thumps it up the field. Several men going up for it. Helseth, again, over the back, they call him. He's coming strong, but it doesn't appear that he's really on the player that much. But the official, just every time he sees him making a little contact, is calling him for that play.
Well, you talked about consistency. At least he has a consistent call, even though it might be a little shaky.
Okay, so on the far side of the field, ball being played around. Brandeis and the Crusaders both battling hard for the ball. Coming out with it is Wheaton, and pushing upfield is Engstrom to Tim Daniels. Tim Daniels and Brian Well. It's 2-on-3. Well coming up with the ball into the box. He's trying to turn it around, trying to cross it. His man goes down. There's the chip into the box. Engstrom trying to get ahead on it. Back to Daniels. Daniels trying to get a side-winding kick, but it goes high and over the crossbar.
The angle wasn't there, and there's the buzzer as the last thrust comes with seconds remaining. And we finished the first half here at East McCully Field with the score: Wheaton Crusaders 1, Brandeis Judges 1.
Okay, so we'll take you right back to the studio in just a few minutes here, as the game ends, or rather the half ends, 1-1, deadlocked. We'll be back in moments for more exciting soccer action. two of the best of them are facing each other off.
It's definitely a different level of athletics here. The best are here. And now, a lot of offensive action by the judges, and Steinberg's taken out again. He spent most of the day on his behind out there, and he's getting a lot of calls. So it's going to be the judges' free kick. The Crusaders set up their human wall, trying to thwart the second goal attempt by the judges. They've really come to the offensive fore this half, pushing the Crusaders constantly. And Wheaton really hasn't had a good shot yet. So let's see if the Crusaders can come up with a big defensive play and maybe get some kind of transitional offense working.
Okay, this is an indirect kick, so two men have to touch the ball before it can go into the back of the net.
Hegman is stretched down like a catcher squatting. Greg Allen waiting to make a move. He fakes once. Now with the right foot drops it to his teammate. The shot by Steinberg hits the wall. Dave Wolf gets ahead on it. Now it's split through. Paul Helseth keeps it outside of the box. And now a nice play by Marcus Donald to strip the Brandeis player. And Andy Taylor with a super play off the side of his foot. Now it's Randy Felder right in front of the press box. Right on him is Greg Allen. Felder looks through for McDonald, but picked off by Balka nicely. Steve Stone battles with Pete Felsky, and Felsky comes out victorious there. Felsky pushing it down the left wing. Greg Allen forcing him to cut back inside. Balka picks him up. Now Felsky drops it back to Wolf, and Wolf goes clear across the field to Jamie Brabenek on the right wing. Brabenek chips it from way out in the field. Marcus Donald's in there deep in the zone. And it goes out of bounds. Steve Stone lets it go over the line, and we're going to have a goal kick for the judges. So the first offensive thrust for the Crusaders, but all for naught.
On that previous play on that shot was the Crusaders set up the wall. That was Jeff Steinberg, their leading scorer, taking that shot. And he just cranked on that ball. It was a little bit low. If it had got past that wall, Hegman would have had a tough time trying to save that one. But a nice defensive play by all those involved in that defensive wall.
Now, loose ball at midfield. Steinberg shanks it off his foot, poorly and out of bounds, way over by the fans. And it's going to be a throw-in for the Crusaders and Andy Taylor. Taylor uses his gloved hands and drops it back over the midfield stripe to Metters, who goes to Cowie. Now to Helseth. Helseth lines a shot, looking for somebody down the middle of the field, but it goes to McCulley, and McCulley easily drops it back on a couple hops to his goaltender, Jim Leahy, the senior, the captain, who has turned in 14 shutouts thus far this season. Now, his punt goes way down the field. Ed Metters high in the air, pops it right back up to midfield. Mark McDonald makes a nice move to beat people. Now it's Peyton Gibson out-duels Andrew Taylor. And it's still loose at midfield. Nobody can control it. Pete Felsky hustling over. He goes to the right wing and drops it for Steve Shannon as they make a little switch. Looking for Randy Felder. He slips and falls. Grandin is there. And Grandin tries to get by Helseth. Helseth deflects it, but it goes to Dob Bolkva. Now Bolkva loses it, but he regains composure and he comes at about 15 yards outside of the box. Now he drops it for Allen. Allen looking for something to develop. But he's stripped by Steve Shannon. It drops back to McCulley. McCulley from way out. And that looks like a field goal from about 45 yards. It would have gone, but this is the wrong sport. And it's over the fence, and it's going to be a goal kick for the Crusaders.
It's interesting that Balka, one of their strongest wing players, who was playing the left wing in the first half and battling hard with Jamie Brabenek, a good head-to-head match between them, is playing the right wing now. Brabenek's still playing the left on the other side, so now it's matched differently. Balka is playing with Helseth, an equally strong defender, but I don't know whether there's any strategy involved in that switch, maybe to free Balka up a little bit for some more offensive play.
Okay, now the Crusaders trying to control on the offensive end. Dave Wolf at the circle on the offensive end tries to find Jamie Brabenek, but picked off nicely by Greg Allen. Oh, and a super slide tackle coming back by Steve Diego Shannon. A tremendous soccer play right there, and he gets it up to Jamie Brabenek flying. Brabenek is hammered from behind by Viskin, and we have a call, and it's going to be a free kick for the Crusaders, and here comes a possible card. And here we go, the big yellow for number 24, Alan Viskin. And the Crusader fans are waving yellow cards in the stands. They love it. Viskin, retribution right there for hammering Brabenek, and the Crusaders will get a free kick along with that yellow card.
That's interesting. I've never seen the fans. They all came equipped with their yellow cards, ready to flash them up as soon as someone receives one. What if they have red ones out there?
I hope so. I hope so.
Hope you get to use them, too.
Okay, here comes, looks like it's going to be Brabenek on the free kick, recovered from that hard fall. He's up on this tough grass out here. And the substitutions now checking in. Number 17, Peter Cherowitz, comes in for the judges. Brandeis all set. Crusaders ready to see if they can take that lead again. Brabenek waiting for the referee to blow his whistle. Everything's set. And here we go. Brabenek boots it high into the air, real high. Pete Felsky can't get it, and he's going to have to come back into his left wing. He's being chased by Stone. He cuts it back inside and lines it into the box area. McCulley gets a head on it and gets it out of danger. Now it's way up by midfield. The Crusaders control again. Ed Metters hits it off the side of his foot. And it's going to scoot out of bounds despite Pete Felsky's hustling efforts. And Steve Stone's going to have the throw-in. And lays it flying down for number 8. That's Dan Grandin, one of the captains. And that forces Chris Hagman to come well out of his goal and kick it out of bounds. So we are going to have a corner kick. Excuse me, a corner kick for the judges. It's tough to see down in that deep right wing corner from this press box area, but we can tell it looks like it's going to be a corner kick. Everybody getting set up. It's a throw-in, but it's as good as a corner kick because he gets a lot of heat on it. And now it's in the air. Chris Hagman is out of his goal area. Randy Felder has a big collision with Grandin, but no call on the collision. Fortunately for the Crusaders, because Felder really just hammered Grandin, took him down hard. And it's going to be a goal kick for the Crusaders. Randy Felder, an aggressive, scrappy little ball player, in his last minutes of his career here, giving it all he's got. And he helped the Crusaders out there. Chris Hagman now ready with the goal kick. Boots it up to midfield nicely. Steve Shannon and Greg Allen battle for the head. Shannon gets his head on it. Still in the air though. Peyton Gibson just climbs the back of Mark McDonald. We got a call. He just stepped on his shoulders, checked for cleat marks on the neck. That was a crazy play, and it's going to be a free kick for the Crusaders.
There's about 33 minutes left to play in the second half. In case you've just joined us, the score is still 1-1. Neither team ahead here. Obviously, just an evenly matched game. Both teams fighting extremely hard. Can't really say that one team is dominating.
Now Pete Felsky, Steve Stone is back. Has to go to the right wing for Andy Taylor. Peyton Gibson all over Taylor. Taylor trying to make a move. Can't get by him. Gibson playing very well down there. Better this half. But Taylor finally dusts him. Now he's deep into the right wing corner. Trying to make a move. An obstruction by Balka. And they don't make a call. So it's going to be a goal kick. Balka just threw his body in front of Taylor, but no call there. And here come the judges. As Scott said, about a half an hour of soccer left. Leafs in regulation, we're tied at 1. Good goal kick by Leahy. But the Crusaders now control with Steve Shannon right at midfield. Again battling Greg Allen. 2 number 14s in a battle. Now Shannon drops it back to Dave Wolf right by the NCAA sign at midfield. Now Balkan has a collision with Taylor. And they call it on Taylor with a push. And it's going to be a free kick for the judges. Little discussion between the referee and Taylor and Balka. Everything's straight now. Here comes McCulley with the free kick. Goes middle of the field to Greg Allen. Allen's flying. The Chelsea coming right on him and makes a nice play. And super drive flips over the ball. Dave Cowie comes up with it. Cowie to Mark McDonald right at the middle of the field. Tries to get by Stone. They push and shove. Now it's thrown up to the middle of the field. There was a foot race between Mishol and Felder. And Mishol beats him there and is able to slowly roll it back to his goaltender. And Felder couldn't get a foot on it.
Felder showing incredible speed on that play, however. Catching up with Mishol on that play. Realizing that Mishol was going to pass it back to his goalkeeper, he just bypassed Mishol and just kept running right for the goalkeeper, knowing that the ball was going to get there. And had he had maybe 1 or 2 more strides, he might have beat him to the ball.
Good effort by the ball player from Dallas, Texas, Randy Felder. Now Leahy has a punt, and he booms it deep into the offensive end for the judges. Dave Cowie gets a head on it, but now McCulley has control for Brandeis. Brandeis coming on the offensive. Looking for something. Steinberg from right at the top of the box. He drills it well wide into the brick building behind the goal. No good. Goal kick for the Crusaders.
In the event that this game is tied at the end of regulation time, here's what will happen. They will begin 2 10-minute overtimes. They're not sudden death. They will play both of them. For instance, if a team scores in the first 10-minute overtime, they will continue to play that one and then the second one. And whoever's winning after the end of the 2 10 minutes is the winner. If it's tied after that still, then we go into shootout.
Now it's in the Wheaton defensive end. Dave Cowie gets by Balka nicely. He got shoved, but he just came through anyway, and he goes up to Steve Shannon. Shannon by Allen, flying to Dave Cowie on the right wing. The entire stand stands up on that play nicely. Dave Cowie chips it into the middle, looking for Pete Felsky. Gets a head on it. Oh, and one hop quickly into the diving arms of Jim Leahy.
That was the way you wanted to work it. Very pretty. Cowie on the far side with a nice cross. Pete Felsky wide open. He has a good strong head on those. But he was just a little bit far out, and Leahy had time to make that save.
Crusaders finally pushing offensively now. Mark McDonald is taken out by Grandin, but Felsky strips Grandin, but it goes out of bounds. It's going to be a throw-in for the Crusaders. Cherowitz yields to Grandin, who's going to take the throw-in. Number 8.
The official backing him up as Dan was encroaching a little bit far up on that throw-in, so they back him up.
Conlon gets a head ball.
Conlon gets a head on it, but they got Dave Wolf for pushing from behind, and there's that call again. And even Brandeis doesn't like that because it's slowing down the action. McCulley's unhappy with that call, even though it went for his squad. Now it's going to be Steve Stone with the free kick. Everybody lining up, seeing what's going to happen. This game is just as tight as can be. They're deadlocked at one. Every opportunity, a golden one, as the time winds down here in this 1984 soccer season. High in the air, oh, and there's a collision. And Glenn Conlon was right up there with Hegman, even though he's about 6 inches shorter. But Hegman comes down with it. That was very close.
That was an interesting play by Conlon. A lot of officials will call that, thinking that the goalkeeper had it in his control. But despite whether Conlon thought he could get that or not, it's a good play because it can unnerve the goalkeeper in future attempts like that. As the goalkeeper comes out, he'll remember that last collision and might be a little bit more hesitant.
Just something to think about for Hegman, a little message. And now the Crusaders try to get control on their defensive end. Dave Cowie with a good slide, but he boots it out of bounds right over in the stands, and Peyton Gibson will have the throw-in. Gibson with a good strong throw-in, but Steve Shannon gets his head on it to Pete Felsky, who saves it from going out of bounds, but they say no. Have to see that end line over there. So we'll say that the referee made the right call, and Greg Allen is going to have the throw-in for the judges. He lays it in for looking for Steinberg, who has been ineffective in the second half, and the Crusaders steal it. Now here comes Andy Taylor, flying at midfield, tries to get by Gibson. He's taken down hard, no call. McCulley has it. Attempted slide tackle by Andy Taylor is thwarted, and McCulley goes to Cherowich. Cherowich tries to get by Helseth, but is tripped. That's going to be a free kick. Conlon and Brandeis is going to take it. Now Conlon waiting. Andy Taylor hurt his leg on that attempted slide tackle in the midfield.
It appears that his left calf muscle cramped up on him. He's sitting there trying to stretch it out carefully, and just as he was about ready to get up, it cramped up on him again, and down he went again. So the trainers are coming out to assist him. Hopefully it'll loosen up for him. He might have to come out for a few minutes, but it would be a devastating loss if he couldn't come back in.
You got to know that he's going to be back, though, Scott, because Andy Taylor has just played 4 years of soccer here, pretty injury-free. He may be small, but he's certainly not frail. And he goes down a couple times a game even, but he still gets up and plays the entire game. Very endurance-type player. So the Crusaders, now Tom Engstrom ready to check in. He's running up and down the sideline in front of the press box. And this is really exciting. National exposure for the Crusaders, and I'm sure for Brandeis too, but to have it here at Wheaton with all the NCAA people and the reporters from the Boston Globe and the Tribune and everybody here and having the game broadcast over the airwaves, it's got to be exciting for both teams involved and the athletic director, Dr. Tony Ladd, who has just done a super job this entire year in promoting the soccer team as well as the other sports.
So coming into the game is Tom Engstrom, coming in for the injured Andy Taylor. He's on his feet and walking. Again, it appears it was just a cramped muscle, so he's coming off for a few minutes to relax, catch his breath, and hopefully he'll be right back in.
I'm sure he will, but probably leave Engstrom in and come in for somebody else. Now, it's going to be Steve Stone with a free kick, and there in the offensive end, the Brandeis team is, and he loops it up. Mark McDonald on his face tries to make something happen. Nice head ball by Jamie Brabenek outside of the box now. Greg Allen with the left foot booms it, but Pete Felsky deflects it. Super job by Felsky, who's playing a tremendous ball game. And Peyton Gibson and Tom Engstrom battle again. Now they had a great matchup in the first half. It's still loose, nobody controlling at the... And now Dov Bolka comes flying through on the left wing nicely. Bolka switching wing to wing, not really settling any place. But Dave Cowie strips him like a magician and goes up to Steve Shannon. But Greg Allen picks it off. Nice play by Allen. And we have a call somewhere. They say Allen had the ball over the line over there. And it's going to be a throw-in for the Wheaton ball team.
Something that's interesting to see is both teams have some really top-notch players on their teams, and so it's making for some really good head-to-head competitions between individual players, which is very interesting to see. However, it's also interesting to note that they're team players. They have the ability to take the ball and go with it themselves, but yet they're smart enough to realize they're going to do more as a team, and that's what's gotten both of these two teams this far in the championship final game.
I'm excited to watch the Peyton Gibson-Tom Engstrom matchup again this half because it materialized into really exciting action in the first half. And now with about 25 minutes left in this half, it should be interesting as the time winds down.
Another matchup, they moved Balka back over to the left wing, and there was a whistle on that play as Bradnick pushed Balka. They're going head-to-head with each other again.
Okay, Greg Allen has the free kick after that push by Bradnick. He puts it into the box, but Conlon can't do anything with it, and he loses it to Steve Shannon. Steve Shannon throws it up harmlessly at midfield, though, and Greg Allen comes right back with it. Allen has just played a stellar ball game. Steve Shannon takes Allen down hard, face first into the dirt. That's got to hurt, and Shannon might be hurt too, and Shannon is grabbing his left leg, and he is hurt.
So Crusaders starting to get plagued by injuries here. It's also slowing the pace of the game down a lot. They came out in the first half. Both teams were ready and raring to go. A few shots on goals by both teams, but now plagued by injuries and lots of calls as the pushing has gotten a little bit harder. The tempo has slowed down considerably, and Shannon, still on the ground, appears to be in pain.
Brian Weld now gets up. Possible substitution for Shannon. And we don't know what the problem is. It's way over on the other side of the field. Definitely a problem, though. Steve Shannon is in pain. He's grabbing his left leg. Teammates are gathered around him, as well as trainers and coach. And everybody holding their breath in the stands, as well as on the bench and here in the press box. We can't afford to lose Steve Shannon. Even though it's the last game of the season, he's a very valuable part of this squad. Now the Crusaders trying to get one more offensive push, get that goal, and go home right here and win it all. Get that gold medal, get that #1 in the nation. They've been ranked #1 for a couple weeks now, but it only counts as who's ranked #1 at the end of the season. Now Brian Weld is stripped of the ball by McCulley, and McCulley comes up to the Wheaton offensive end, but nice job with the chest trap by Jamie Brabenek to steal it. He goes up to John Searle. Searle can't control, and he almost trips over the fans who are so close to the end line over there. And it's going to be a throw-in for the judges.
Todd, there's only 4 minutes left to play in regulation here, and it's still tied up 1-1. It really is. It appears that this game may go into overtime unless either team can take advantage of some kind of offensive play just in these last few minutes.
Simon and McCulley battle for it, but John Searle comes free with it. Searle trying to get up to the midfield stripe, does to Tim Daniels. Daniels to Dave Wolf, but Wolf loses his balance, and he is hurt, and he is really hurt. He is having a lot of trouble. He has grabbed his foot, and his face is just covered with pain. He is down. They've got to call a timeout. He is in a lot of pain. I think he's got a serious foot cramp.
Yeah, he's got the same problem Andy Taylor had, that shin after this long of play, and you know what it is, Scott? The cold weather also.
Yep.
And in this kind of cold weather, if you haven't stretched out well enough, and even if you have, that'll cramp up, and when it does, you go down to the ground hard, and it just sits there, and you're in pain.
There's nothing you can do. You're right, Scott. And it's just you need rest. In the cold, you got to heat it up, and there's nowhere to heat it up. Even when you're playing and you're sweating, those legs stay cold down there. There's not as much blood circulating, and that has got to be painful. You can just see it etched all over the face of Dave Wolf, laying right in the circle, right by the NCAA sign, and we have a timeout, so the clock will stop.
So we have just a few minutes left to play. If we do go into overtime, we'll stay right here between the few minutes between regulation and overtime. We're going to stay here with you, and we'll recap the game and maybe give you some strategy. Looks like Andy Taylor may be coming back into the game. He does. He comes in for, well, I'm not sure if he's coming for Tim Daniels or if Daniels is just coming over the sideline to talk. But Andy Taylor is back out on the field. It looks like he's going to be coming in for Dave Wolf.
Yeah, Wolf is going to leave the game. He is in a bunch of pain.
So we trade one player who went off with a cramp and sat out for several minutes, has recovered and comes back in, and now another one with the same problem goes out.
Wolf has played just about every minute of the season here this year, and finally catches up with him with a leg cramp here late in the second half of this championship ball game. Andy Taylor finally checks back in for Wolf. Probably about 3 minutes to go in the game in regulation. We're still tied at 1. It's nervous time. We have a drop ball, Randy Felder and Mike Violette. Felder comes through with it nicely, and he goes up to the right wing where John Searle looks for somebody. Searle against Gibson. Searle looking. Nice job, did one-touch pass to Tim Daniels, but it's picked off by Mischel, who makes a nice play over there. That's going to be a throw-in for the Crusaders as Mischel put it out of bounds. We've been pronouncing Mischel's name wrong. We've been saying Mischel, but it's Mischel. So you'll bear with us as we try to make the correction. Now Tim Daniels, deep in the offensive end, tries to get it in the middle, but it's picked off by Greg Allen nicely, and we have a push in the box against the Crusaders. It's a free kick for the judges.
So taking it back there will be Mischel, and they're probably going to kick it right back to their goalkeeper, Leahy, so he can pick it up and punt it, and they do. So Leahy has the ball in his hands, their goalkeeper, who's playing a fine game here so far today.
Yes, he has, Scott. He has a fine punt there, and it's deep in the Wheaton defensive end, and Dolph Volka challenges Brabenek and forces Brabenek to put it over the sideline. It's going to be a throw-in for Mike Violette and the judges. Brandeis trying to get that last goal here as the time runs out. and steal this national championship away from the home favorite, Wheaton Crusaders. Now it's free at the top of the box. Nobody can get a foot on it, and Randy Felder comes out with it. Felder to Daniels. Daniels tries to give and go with Felder. It's a foot race. Felder against Conlon and Allen, and Allen kicks it over the end line. A big mistake, and here we have a late in the game corner kick, and it's going to be Randy Felder to take it for the injured Dave Wolf. Felder hustling. He drops it in short corner kick. It's Tim Daniels right in the box. Nobody's ready. It's in there. Just almost had it. The game-winning goal of the national championship on his left foot, and he couldn't punch it home into the open side of the net. The momentum of the ball and the spin of the ball forced him to pop it just wide, and Brandeis has new life as they almost had the national championship. Wheaton so close.
I have to apologize if I got too excited on that one. I couldn't help it. It went right past an open goal as the goalkeeper came out and went down. And Engstrom, who was way on the far side, didn't have a good angle, but yet the goal was open. Just couldn't get that foot on. I bet he's just kicking himself right now. But he's back up and he's playing, and they still can put it away.
To your left, and have a throw right in front of the press box, looking for somebody. He goes to McCulley, breaking through over the midfield stripe. Weld pressing in, making McCulley do something. There's a lot of pushing and shoving between Weld and McCulley. McCulley slips and falls, but gets it to Cherowitz on the right wing. It's really push time now. People are going to show what they're really made of. Brian Weld and McCulley collide, and McCulley goes down, and he is hurt. His knee is hurt. He's grabbing it. Andy Taylor comes through. Andy Taylor looking for somebody. Goes right wing to John Searle. Searle can't get a foot on it. Steve Stone comes up with it, but it goes off Stone. Oh, and they say it's a trip on Searle. It's going to be a free kick for Greg Allen and the judges. McCulley back on his feet. Still limping, though. He's favoring that left leg. He took a blow to the knee from Brian Weld. And there it is. Regulation has ended.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we'll have 20 minutes at least. 20 minutes more of NCAA championship soccer. People are getting their money's worth here today. Andy Taylor's back in as he came in for the injured Dave Wolf. And Dave Wolf is back up on his feet, and he's in now too. So we've got all the starters back in, ready to play. And hopefully we'll not go down with any more cramps here in this half. We're stretching out very carefully here to ward that serious injury off. So taking the kickoff will be the Crusaders, moving from left to right. In the center of the circle to take that will be Andy Taylor and Mark McDonald. Right in there in the painted NCAA sign there. This is the championship game, the last game of the season played here. And whoever comes away with the win here will be the #1 team in the nation.
Okay, Andy Taylor drops it way back to his own goaltender. He just drilled it from midfield back to Hagman. See if the Crusaders can get everything set offensively. Obviously, play set up. And he drop kicks it and gets a bunch of power behind that one. And excuse us, they changed it, and the Crusaders are going to be moving from our left to right as opposed to Brandeis, so they do have the wind behind their back. So it should be key to score here in the first half of the overtime.
Bradnick takes the free kick from center field, puts it up in towards the box, but it's taken away quickly by Michal, and he drives it upfield, up to Bolko. Bolko and Bradnick battling it out still on the near side. Bradnick knocks it out over the sideline. Throwing, taking it, Cowie coming hard to break it up, and he does, up to McDonald. McDonald turns it inside to Wolf. Wolf with a nice body fake on the inside, hits Metters as he comes from his stopper back position. Metters brings it over the midfield stripe. Has a man coming hard from behind, but he still has control. Trying to beat his man on the far side. He can't. But Wolf strips of Violetta the ball on the far side. He has it in the center. Turns the play to the near side to Shannon. Shannon with control on him, right in front of him. And he passes it out to the near side to McDonald. Nice slide tackle by McCulley as he comes over to make that play and knocks it out over the sideline. Taking the throw in is McDonald, inside to Andy Taylor. Taylor trying to turn it around into the box. One touches it in McDonald, but he can't get to it in time, and it's knocked over the sideline. There's the throw in. Andy Taylor trying to get control. He does. Trying to bleed in towards the box. He's got 2 or 3 men on him. Tips it inside. Looking for Falsky. Falsky battling it out there. He goes down. There's a whistle. Yes, finally the call. Gibson elbowed him about 8 times, broke about 3 ribs, and Felsky's down. He really took a beating on that one. Finally gets the call. This is crucial. We got a free kick about 2 yards outside the box. And here it is.
Go, Vaga!
the kick. It's Banana right into the wall, deflected straight up. They head it right back out to Taylor. He takes another shot, high up into the goal mouth. And Leahy comes out and punches it way out of play, out to the far sideline.
Nice play by Leahy.
But with control of Felder on the far side of the Crusaders. He chipped it right back into the box. He's not wanting to give up yet. Looking for Steve Shannon. Shannon with the ball in the near corner. He's got one man in him. He takes it, beats Vulcan down to the baseline, cuts it back off Mischel. Still in play though, and Shannon still comes up with it. Shannon still in the near corner with Vulcan on his back, trying to turn it around. Beats him again and crosses it. But Leahy comes over and makes the save.
Crusaders emphatically complaining that the ball went off Mischel's hand when Shannon attempted to cross it earlier in that sequence of plays. Unfortunately, they didn't get the call because it would have been right in the box and would have been a penalty kick and could have iced the game for the Crusaders.
With the ball now is Leahy. He picks it up, goalkeeper for the Judges. He takes the kick now, puts it out to midfield. Two men going up for it, neither men get it, and it's over to the far sideline. It's out of play, off of the Judge player, and Wheaton has to throw in. Helseth taking it for the Crusaders, puts it down the far sideline. Looking for on the far side, that's Mark McDonald. And two men battling over there. And Brandeis comes up with it and pushes it way upfield. Cowie running it down for the Crusaders. He has control. Goes back to Chris Hagman, but it's broken up. As Steinberg comes over and reads that play. Dangerous play by Cowie.
That's a surprise. Cowie usually doesn't make mistakes like that. But fortunately, no danger yet. We have a trip. Steinberg has what looks to be almost like a corner kick, about 3 yards inside the post.
On the far side, here's Steinberg. He chips it up into the center. Going up high, Shannon goes past everybody, and it was way out on the other side. Andy Taylor trying to chase it down for the Crusaders. He comes down hard and makes a nice play. It's going to skim over the sideline, however, right in front of me in the press box. And Brandeis will have the throw in. Brandeis taking it.
Brandeis unable to capitalize on that mistake. And now they bring right back down another offensive thrust.
So hopefully the Crusaders won't have any more defensive lapses there, as Cowie, trying to hit it back to Hagman, was unaware that Steinberg was just shadowing Hagman and waiting for that play. Thrown on the near side by Brandeis.
It's just about the first time we got to call Steinberg's name in quite a while, as he has been ineffective most of this afternoon.
Yeah, the Crusaders keen on him, shutting him down, realizing they were their leading scorer. Brandeis popping it right back into the box, and Hagman comes out, with a high kick. That's an interesting play. Goalkeeper coming out, usually has his leg up to protect himself. But that time, Hagman had his leg out just a little bit far and kind of chested the oncoming offensive man. Got him right in the chest with his foot, but no call on that play. Ball knocked over the near sideline now, and waiting for the call of the official. They're saying it's a throw-in for Brandeis. Violette will come over to take that throw, and he has a long throw for Brandeis and puts it right into the penalty box. A very good offensive threat for that team. He picks up the ball and is ready to throw it in now. Both teams just clogging up the middle of a nice long throw right into the box, but it's headed out by Paul Helseth, and Metters comes over for the Crusaders and knocks it further upfield. Both teams rushing up quickly to the defense, trying to force Brandeis to come up with them so not to be offsides. Violette just kicks it right into the official there as he tried to chip it inside. So the official getting a taste of the ball too. And Wheaton comes up with it at midfield. Mark McDonald with plenty of time. Puts it to the far side to Brabnick. Brabnick with control. Leaves it off to Falsky. Falsky chipping it inside right up in the middle to Mark McDonald in front of the penalty box. But Violette is there to make a crucial play for the Brandeis Judges. Steinberg chips it inside now. Looking inside for one of their forwards. Can't quite get to it. They're looking for Steve Stone, but they couldn't get it to him, and the Crusaders come up with control. Falsky on the far side. Drops it off to Felder. Pushing it upfield, looking for Mark McDonald. Both men go down. That's Violette and Felder, or McDonald going down hard. Neither man hitting the ball.
McDonald is down and he's hurt. He really got his legs taken out from him. Violette is an aggressive player, and he is just sprawled on his back right now. McDonald getting up slowly. The junior from Lexington, Mass. So his town is well known to the Brandeis players, a lot of them from the New England area.
Injuries plaguing some of the strongest offensive threats of the Crusaders, Andy Taylor and Dave Wolf and Mark McDonald. Hopefully it won't keep them from putting another goal into the net.
Markey back up on his feet, though. That's a good sign. Favoring his right leg a little bit, but it doesn't look like it'll take him out of action.
The Crusaders have a free kick about 20 yards outside the penalty box on the far side, hoping to put it in there and get on the board. It's 1-1, all tied up. We're in overtime. It's the first 10-minute period. Small kick there by Felder. Keeps it on the ground, looking for Falski. And it's kicked high up in the air as Helseth goes up for it and misses.
Cherowitz just really used his body to take Helseth down.
Ball being bobbled around that midfield. Kick to the far corner. Running it down is Falski. He's right in towards the baseline with Peyton Gibson. They're battling hard. Falski comes out with it. Drops it off to Felder. Felder and Violette. It goes over the sideline. And it's a Crusader throw-in. Taking it will be Felder. Coming over is Mark McDonald to receive the ball right at the edge of the penalty box. Goes over the baseline. The crowd's kind of in the way there, but they call a goal kick for Brandeis.
We have about 3 minutes left in the first overtime period. Crusaders and the judges tied at 1. Goal kick from Leahy. Now Mitchell might take it, and everybody getting set. Clock's running down. Players have got to be tired. They've been out there a mighty long time.
Okay, action has resumed. The ball being bobbled around at midfield. Kicked over to the near side. Running it down is, on the near side is Allen. He chips it upfield, looking for Steve Stone, but it goes over the sideline, and we'll have a Crusader throw-in. Neither team really having any terrific offensive threat on these overtime periods. Both kind of just settling in. Hopefully, I'd like to see this end in the overtime period. Shootouts are just so nerve-wracking, but if they happen, they happen, and we'll stay here with you and bring you that action.
And it's thrown again.
There's the throw-in.
All right, now, and Greg Allen knocks it out of bounds. It's going to be a Crusader throw-in. As a little brouhaha forming between Andy Taylor and Conlon, middle of the field, some elbows being thrown, and they're not too happy about that. Now Mark McDonald collides with Conlon, and Conlon is just unhappy. He's really angry, and he's staring down Taylor because he didn't like the little elbow that they exchanged earlier.
Okay, Todd, I've been corrected on the overtime play. They're not playing it like they have throughout the tournament because this is a championship game. They don't want to end on shootouts. That's what they would have done earlier in the tournament. Instead, after this, they will play the other 10-minute period, not sudden death. If it's tied after these 2 10 minutes, they will go into sudden death play. Okay. They will not do a shootout, so it will go sudden death play as long as we need for one team to get on the board. Crusaders battling hard, trying to get some offensive threat. Andy Taylor takes a nice shot into the center, but it's headed out. But battling on the far side is Pete Falski. Falski and Peyton Gibson on the far side. Falski bringing it all the way back to Dave Cowie.
Tremendous play by Gibson. Tremendous play by Gibson. Forced Falski to go all the way back to midfield and reach for Cowie.
Cowie with a drive upfield now. He's challenged hard there by McCulley. McCulley slide tackles him to get it away. And the judges are on the offensive attack. Gibson breaking down the far sideline. But coming up with it is Felder, and he knocks it all the way back to the goalkeeper, Chris Hegman.
Nice play by Felder. He just outran Peyton Gibson, beat him to the ball, and laid it softly back to Hegman.
Brandeis comes up with the ball on the near side. It's Balkan Bradman going to be battling it out on the near side. Balkan with the ball. Bradman talking him carefully, not committing, waiting for Balkan to make the move. He does. Crosses it inside, and Cowie has to knock it over the end line.
And there's the horn, so there won't be a corner kick.
So the ball went over the end line, saving the Crusaders from that corner kick. That was a crucial time, what we call saved by the bell. And we're just going to switch sides here and carry on for the next 10 minutes of play. This 10-minute overtime, cheering the Crusaders on, hoping to clinch that victory that will give them the national title.
I'll tell you, we've been standing up all game. We can't sit down. It pins and needles out here. So much excitement. The blood is pumping. Everybody's excited. Let's see the Crusaders do it. The whole season culminated right here. We got 10 minutes of overtime left. If this doesn't produce a winner, we go to sudden death. Okay, I'll be bringing you the play-by-play now as Glenn Conlon has the ball for the judges, but he loses it, and Dave Wolf comes up with it, and Dave Wolf is he gets slide tackled and tripped hard by Conlon, and Conlon has had a personal vendetta out there since he had that elbow match with Andy Taylor, and he has just leveled Wolf, and Wolf has taken a long time to get up.
That was a tough one, as Wolf was really going full steam with that ball. He just took like a head first Pete Rose dive into the center of the field.
Okay, Callie with the free kick. Oh, and Peyton Gibson. Oh, we're going to have a card. We got to have a card right here because Peyton Gibson went up, realized he couldn't head it because he's too short, and just threw his arms up in the air and caught the ball. So we have a serious yellow card for Gibson, and we got a free kick for the Crusaders. Andy Taylor, as the crowd waves their yellow cards. And now Andy Taylor seeing if he can put the Crusaders on the board and win it.
We're on the far side now. Andy Taylor waiting the official as he marks down that yellow card on Gibson. Again, Gibson is coming up to make the head ball, realized it's going to go over his head, and realized that then the Crusaders would have an offensive threat without him there on the defense. It could have been just one-on-one with the goalkeeper, so he just did what he could, put his hand up and stopped it with that.
Okay, but it gives the Crusaders a free kick about 12 yards outside the box, right wing area. Andrew Taylor ready to take it. He boots it, lines it into the box. Oh, and Cherowich is there with a good right foot and pops it out of danger and into the crowd. It's going to be Crusader throwing. Nice play by Cherowich. Now the throw for the Crusaders. Tim Daniels battling on the right wing. Looking for something, but he's taken away from him by Greg Allen, who's played a super game. Allen's shot was out of bounds, thrown for the Crusaders. Now, still up in the air. Tim Daniels battles with McCulley. McCulley goes down hard. Both players are down. Now it's just a melee in front of the box. Nobody can control. And Brabenek hammers Balka as their battle continues. And Balka's dusted. He gets up slowly. It's going to be a free kick for the judges.
I really wish I could have kept count of these free kicks, but there's got to be more in this game than any other one this season. They're just back and forth. It kind of makes play a little bit choppy, which is unfortunate, but it's just unusual play here on both teams.
Okay, Crusaders trying to settle. Cherowich takes away from Helseth, but he throws away Callie with a nice shoulder trap. And he can't control it and kicks it out of bounds. It's going to be Mike Violette, number 21, the junior, for Brandeis with a strong throw and into the box. Cowie high in the air with the head, nicely to Randy Felder. Felder settles, Violette on his back. Looking for somebody, nice with the side of the foot pass to Helseth. Helseth's flying, Cherowich hustling up to catch him. Helseth, nice job, settles, looking for something. But Cherowich deflects the ball back in the Wheaton defensive end where Randy Felder picks it up. Felder goes middle of the field, but there's nobody there but Greg Allen, number 14. Allen loops it far down the left wing for the chip. Balka and Brabenek gets a nice job. Traps and turns and leaves Balka running the other way. Now Brabenek goes to Steve Shannon. Shannon through the legs of Allen to Andrew Taylor. Andrew Taylor, some magic work with his feet. Nice pass to Brabenek. They're in the Wheaton offensive end. Brabenek with a long chip, looking for Felsky. But number 15 is there.
There was some of that fancy footwork there by Andy Taylor in front of the crowd that he's known for. Hasn't been able to do too much today in the cold weather and the critical play, but giving the crowd a little bit of a show there.
Again, that was 15 Michel, who's played a great defensive game. He's only a sophomore. He's got a great future ahead of him. Now the judges with an offensive threat. But the ball squirts past Cherowich into Chris Hegman's arms, and he has a long drop kick. Great drop kick, even against the wind. And that goes all the way down the field, and it looks like it's going to roll over the sideline, throw it for the judges.
On those, Chris Hegman looking upfield, and normally we'd have Mark McDonald breaking for those, or Tommy Angstrom, but on this case, neither of them are in at the moment, and kind of caught the offensive line of the Crusaders off guard on that. So Crusaders not being able to capitalize on that nice punt by Hegman.
Now Cherowich had an attempted break down the right wing, but Paul Helseth bested him there and got it back to Hegman. Out of trouble, Hegman now with a one drop kick, and he booms it. A lot of adrenaline pumping through his body as he just got a lot on that one. But the head ball is by McCulley, and it clears it back in the Wheaton defensive end. Dave Cowie evades a couple guys, and he looks for Randy Felder, but it's picked off by Mike Violette. Violette goes back to the middle of the field. Jamie Brabenek gets a head on it. Getting a little sloppy now in the middle of the play. Both teams are tired. Finally, Andy Taylor controls it. Tim Daniels attempted drop pass for Taylor, but it's picked off by Steve Stone. Now Paul Helseth strips Cherowich and keeps it in bounds. Mike Violette fans and falls on his fanny, and it's going to be out of bounds. And here comes Andy Taylor with the throw-in, aggressively asking for it. He goes down the left wing for Tim Daniels. Daniels beats Michel. He's in the left wing. He's going to have a cross. Oh, Violette with a great tackle to make up for his early fall. And now it's just right on the sideline, down deep in the left wing. Tim Daniels comes free with it. Violette again down. Daniels can't get by Gibson. Gibson picks it off, and Gibson gets it up out of trouble to Steve Stone. Stone gets by Helseth and goes to Cherowich. Cherowich through, looking for the sprinting Stone, but Metters has got the wheels and beats him back there, and Hegman has the ball. Metters got it to Hegman. Now Hegman with the punt deep in the Wheaton offensive end. McCulley gets his head on it. Now Shannon over the back of Greg Allen, and there's that call again, Scott.
Okay, the Crusaders are going hard, and the official not letting much get by. The play has been a little bit more physical than usual, but the official calling a very tight and close game here.
Okay, McCauley will have the free kick in his own defensive end, right at the circle. And he's ready, and he boots it. It's in the middle field. It looks for Stone, but it evades him, and still nobody has it. Metters fans. Steinberg from about 20 feet out shoots, and it's high over the crossbar.
Okay, so we'll have a goal kick coming out for the Crusaders with just a few minutes left. 5 minutes, to be exact, left in this overtime period. It's not sudden death, but if we're done with this period and it's still tied, we'll take a short break and then go right into sudden death play.
Steinberg with his first shot in hours. Finally got it off, but it was wide and high. Now, Hegman's free kick goes up to midfield, but again, Balka has control of it for the judges, but Paul Helseth strips him neatly and comes up past Violette. Helseth still keeping in bounds. And finally, the entire Brandeis team talks the referee into calling it out of bounds. And Balka gets the throw in. It beats Felder. But he's collapsed on by 2 defenders, and Dave Wolf comes up with a loose ball to Randy Taylor. And Wolf got hammered again by Conlon as they're just colliding left and right, and he's still on his back. Now Cherowich is in the box. He's hawked by Bravenek. He tries to chip, but he hits it into the next county, and it's out of bounds, and it's going to be a free kick for the Crusaders.
Dave Wolf on the ground as he was hammered earlier. The official had his back into that one. He seems to, it's interesting, the official's seeing a lot of the less crucial calls, but then the ones that are really, you just see either looking the other way or what. Dave Cowley, the captain, having a few words with him right now. But Wolf on the ground in pain. He was down earlier. He had to go out because of a cramp, and it appears that it's either his ankle or the cramp again affecting his leg. They've got several people around, and this one seems to be a little bit more serious than the first time.
And everybody's really angry at the referee for missing that one. Bravenek, Cowley, Felsky, all up in arms, and they're giving a yellow card to somebody. I really don't know what's going on right here. But the Wheaton team is unhappy, and Steve Shannon has to restrain Jamie Bravenek, who's just fuming. And the referee's trying to explain to the captain, Andy Taylor, and somebody's going to get a card. Bravenek is upset.
Jamie Bravenek being, just like you said, Todd, upset with for his teammate, Dave Wolf. They're good friends, and when he sees him get hammered like that, he just kind of loses it and doesn't know what to say. There is a yellow card issued, and we can't, whether it's a team yellow on the team or what, it's hard to say.
And that is it for Wolf. He cannot.
Must be his ankle.
He's being helped off the field. He cannot leave the field under his own power. He's being carried off by the trainers, and it looks like just tears in his eyes, and because the whole season is over for him right now, and he is in tremendous pain and all the emotion, just the entire year wrapped up in one game, and he is going to have to leave injured. I don't know the extent of his injury, and I don't know who the yellow card went to.
I tell you, Todd, this has got to be a tough moment for him, because I'm sure as he's sitting on the bench watching the game progress, despite his serious injury, he's going to want to come back in, and he's going to probably be saying, "I'm fine, send me in," but it'll be up to the coach's discretion. If it's serious, he should stay out, because risking serious injury, it would be better for him to stay out, even though we're sure he'd want to be in there playing.
With a clarification on that yellow card, it goes to Andrew Taylor, one of the quieter members of the team, for unsportsmanlike conduct. Well, that's a shocker. But the Crusaders do have control, and the game isn't over yet. We're tied at 1. We've lost Dave Wolf, one of our important starters. John Page has checked in for him. Big loss for the Crusaders, but Page is certainly a talent. And let's see if he can help the Crusaders out. Now Andy Taylor beats a couple men. They're in the offensive zone. See if the Crusaders, see if this will ignite them, this injury to Wolf. Now, Tim Daniels in the box, but it's knocked by Greg Allen towards the sideline. And a tremendous play by Pete Felsky to keep it in bounds. He lines it into the box. Peyton Gibson hits it and clears it out of trouble, but then Steve Shannon hits it off Gibson's leg, and it's going to be a corner kick, and Randy Felder sprinting over there. Time running out. There's got to be about 2 minutes left. 3 minutes.
3 minutes to play. That hard shot by Shannon just rocketed off Peyton Gibson. On the far side, the corner kick will be taken by Randy Felder.
This is it. This is the whole ball game. Randy Felder, he hits it too low, and it's cleared out by Steinberg nicely, all the way to midfield. And out of bounds. It's going to be a throw for the Crusaders. So Felder couldn't get it up in the air enough. Hit it strong, but a little low. And no head ball.
Could have been, because normally taking those corner kicks would have been Dave Wolf, but he's out with that injury. And we'll try to find out what the word is on him.
Great effort by Metters to slide tackle and get the ball to Brabenek. Now Brabenek to Felsky, who tries a chest trap. Taylor shoots just wide. Just wide.
An incredible shot as Pete Felsky came back for the ball, just set it up at about a foot off the ground. Andy Taylor came through with just a clear rocket of a shot, one of the fastest shots I've seen, but it was just a little bit wide. Had that been on goal, that would have been in.
Wow. Your heart's got to be in your throat if you're watching this ball game or listening to it. It's incredibly exciting. Now at midfield, after the punt, John Page gets ahead on it, but Conlon comes free with it. Conlon's been hacking all game. He's pushed from behind by Felder. Now he goes down on all fours and knocks Felsky off the ball. Felder and Conlon both go down. It's craziness out here. Steve Shannon off the side of his foot looking for somebody to break, but McCulley heads it out of danger, and now it's at midfield, where Steinberg and Metters are battling. Steinberg using his body, shielding Metters from the ball, trying to go right wing. Metters just step for step with him, forcing him inside, now outside. Steinberg, arms, finally gets it into the middle. Cherowich can't get a foot on it, and Helseth gets it up to Page, to Felder. Pass Violette, back to Page. Page, nice job with the head, get by McCulley. Now Page has to dive to keep it in, and he can't. He just couldn't keep it in there, and Violette will have a throw in. Mike Violette, number 21, throws it in. Paul Helseth knocks it right out of bounds. And
we had another ball on the field, so it was stopped, and they're going to call that back.
Ball was in possession. Brandeis' possession, but they're going to call a drop ball.
Okay, we're going to have a drop ball on the near side of the field on that play then.
Neither team is very happy with that call. And now it's out of bounds off Violette, and Johnny Page will have the throw in. Oh, he yields to Paul Helseth. Helseth, both hands on the ball, goes to Pete Felsky. Felsky sets, looking for somebody. He lines it with a cross, looking for Taylor, but Peyton Gibson nicely picks it off and sends it back into the Wheaton defensive zone. Now, about the midfield stripe, Brabenek chips it right way for Andy Taylor, flying as Peyton Gibson went down. Now, Taylor, one man to beat. Mitchell just takes him down hard, and
They have the call. There's just not much time left. It's got to be under a minute. Both teams rushing hard up the field. Brabenek wanting the ball. We've got 2 balls on the field again. Taylor backing up to take the kick.
This is
That's
it.
the clock.
Taylor drills it. It's right into a bunch of blue jerseys, and they kick it out of bounds. They really had to rush that. And now Brabenek gets the throw real quick. Andy Taylor trying to cross it, but it's taken away by Steve Stone, and Stone puts it out of bounds. And there is the whistle. So we have gone through 2 10-minute overtime periods, and we are still tied at 1. Now we have sudden death.
The reason they put a time limit on it, of course, is so that they can have a break. It is sudden death, however, so if a team scores, that's it. It's over. We're all tied up at 1. We've gone through 2 10-minute overtimes already, and it's coming down to the wire here.
Okay, folks, thanks for bearing with us. Crazy action out here. It's a lot of fun. Press box is teeming with people. The announcers from Brandeis are excited and tense. We're excited and tense. Even the PA people don't know what's going on. It's been such a high-spirited ball game, emotionally charged throughout. And still, we've been here over 2.5 hours just about, and they've got to be tired, the players, and just mentally and physically exhausted, just spent. They've given so much through these playoffs, and now, one more game, it's a marathon.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it is, again, there are no penalty kicks. This is sudden death. The fans have just come out in abundance here, especially since they know we're in overtime. There's no room to put anybody. They're making sure that behind the goals is clear so as not to disrupt the players. But other than that, it's just packed 5 people deep all the way around the field.
Now Wheaton has the kickoff, and Tom Engstrom flying down the right wing forces Steve Stone to pop it out of bounds. Wheaton taking it to the forefront immediately in the start of this sudden death period. Throw in by Engstrom to Taylor. Taylor beats one man. He's forced back by Gibson, though. He has to make a decision. Keeps on pulling back further. Now, still with Gibson on him, goes to Engstrom, right wing. Engstrom with Stone on him. Engstrom tries with a left foot cross, but nicely picked off on the head of McCulley, and McCulley boots it high into the stands. Wish we could say a souvenir for a fan, but they say it's off the Crusader, and it's going to be a throw-in for the judges. Now it's loose, and Ed Metters gets it back into the Wheaton offensive end. Andy Taylor, nice little self-pass, but can't get by Gibson. He grabbed him. Taylor wanted the call, didn't get it. Paul Helseth and Cherowich battle for it. The score's back to Dave Cowie, and Cowie one-hops it back to Chris Hegman, the goaltender. Hegman, not much on that punt, but it goes to Brian Weld anyway. Weld lets it skip through him, trying to go to Felder. But Brian Weld strips Greg Allen of the ball and looks through for Mark McDonald. Can't get it there. Glenn Conlon now has the ball. Up to Mike Violette. Violette off his face, now down to his foot, and looks for Cherowich, but it's picked off nicely by Helseth, who was just beating Cherowich to the mark all game. Now Helseth. Something had happened at the break is that Dave Wolf, who looked seriously injured, came back in the game, and he just couldn't take it. He's going to leave right now. He's just battling a lot of pain. He wants it so bad, wants to be out there so bad, but he just can't do it.
As again, Dave Wolf in tears now as he has to come off the field. He wants to be in there despite his pain and injury because he knows this is just a crucial game. But it's better for him to sit off rather than to risk serious injury.
Now, it's deep in the Wheaton defensive end, and they're going to have a throw-in. Let's see, there's a little confusion on what's going to happen. We're not at a good angle to see, so we're just kind of craning our necks, trying to see something. And it's going to be thrown, looks like Felder threw it in. Now it's at the top of the box, and Paul Helseth's battling chair with. Now Greg Allen had a chance for a shot, but he shanked it, almost fanned, and it rolls to Bolka. Bolka to Stone, who it's a left-foot drive, but it's way wide and over the fence. Free kick from the 6-yard line for the Wheaton squad.
Again, as I mentioned earlier, the factor of the sun. Chris Hegman is standing out there in the goal, blocking the sun with his left hand, so you know it's shining in his eyes. It is a factor. So Brandeis obviously chose, as they won the toss, they chose to go with the sun to their backs the first sudden death period, hoping to get on the board early with that disadvantage of the sun in the goalkeeper Chris Hegman's eyes. Hopefully we can either score a goal or hold off for these first 10-minute sun death play and switch it around, and then we'll have the advantage of the sun to our backs.
I wish the sun would shine in here, Scott.
Oh boy, right on my toes.
It's about 40 below, but the Crusaders are out where it counts in the sunshine, and let's hope we can heat them up and give them a victory now. We're in the first sudden death 10-minute overtime period. The fans are rallying behind their squad, hoping to exhort them on to victory here. Chris Hegman will have a goal kick. He shields the sun from his eyes, and he's ready to go. He booms it, but he put it too much to the right, and it's out of bounds. It'll be a throw-in for Steve Stone and the judges. Brandeis hustling down. Stone goes to Bolka. Bolka looking for something to work. Brabenek forcing him down the line. Bolka out of bounds. Nice job by Brabenek.
Brabenek not giving him any room to turn inside, had to force him around the outside, and only left him enough space to barely get around. And as Bolka went for it, he just couldn't squeeze by and had to go out of bounds.
Now Brabenek to Taylor. Taylor lines it hard on the other side.
Again.
Oh, that's a card. That should sit him down. They had Mark McDonald flying through on the play, and instead McCulley just grabbed it and caught it. Oh, that yellow, but
that's the second one of the game. Unfortunately, is not the same player. The first one went to Peyton Gibson. This one, I believe, McCulley. Yep. Same play. The ball's going past him, and he realized the Crusaders would have a breakaway, so he reaches up and grabs it with his hand.
That's not good soccer, Scott.
So the official realizes that, gives him the yellow card, and the three of them now on their players. If a player receives another one, if they have a yellow card already and violate something enough to get another yellow card, the two equal a red, and they're out of the game, giving us a one-man advantage. But as it stands, it's still equal play. Score 1-1, sudden death play.
Brabenek hits it right to the box on the chip to Engstrom, and Engstrom rolls it, but the goaltender dives out and keeps it in play. It will be a punt for Leahy. Leahy one bounce and boots it. A fairly good boot to the midfield where Brabenek gets his head on it. Brabenek to Engstrom. Engstrom tries a trap, but Steve Stone picks it away from him and goes to Bolka. Now Bolka, hawked by Engstrom, goes up to Stone again. Stone trying to turn his man. Can't. It's knocked out of bounds by Cowie. It'll be a throw-in for Stone. And he's got McCulley in the box, and there's nobody there, and it's free. Oh, and a tremendous play by Hegman. He came out, and it deflected off his hand, and it's going to be a corner kick.
A critical moment here, sudden death. Corner kick for Brandeis on the far side of the field. Both teams now starting to get a little tired. They didn't appear to be before, but the up and down the field is getting to be more of a walk than a jog, and they're getting tired. A corner kick for the judges on the far side.
McCulley, all the way from his defensive position, almost scored the game-winning goal. Looking a lot like Dave Cowie for Wheaton with that deep offensive thrust. Now Steinberg with the corner kick, far side of the field. He gets it up in the air. Nobody gets a head on it. It scoots by. Mitchell swings and misses, and it's out of bounds. It's going to be a goal kick for the Crusaders, and they escaped that one narrowly.
Boy, this announcer's heart just about stopped on that one as the ball went all the way across the mouth of the goal. untouched.
Lisho had a chance to get his foot on it, but he swung and missed. And in soccer, it only takes one strike and you're out, and went out over the line, and it's a goal kick for the Crusaders. Hagman lines it right up the middle of the field. Felder gets it off the top of his head for Mark McDonald. McDonald goes for Johnny Page. Page, a junior out of Santa Rosa, California, tries to beat McCulley, but McCulley, a stalwart on D, forces it out of bounds. Now a throw-in for the Crusaders. Page looking for McDonald. McDonald's cut off by number 6. McCulley and McCulley. Oh, no. And now it's loose. Oh, and there's a trip, and that should be it. Right there. That should be a penalty kick. That should be unbelievable that we are going to have a penalty kick. And the fans are going absolutely crazy. Here's what happened. McCulley tried to get back to his goaltender. He tried to get it back to his goaltender, but he hit it wide. Then Leahy dove to save it inbounds to avoid the corner kick. But it popped loose from his hands, and Andy Taylor had a chance to go right in on the open goal. Leahy reached out, grabbed the ankle of Taylor, and Taylor is hurt now, but he just took away the goal opportunity, and Taylor cannot put any weight on his foot. But the Crusaders have a chance to win it right here with Dave Cowie and a penalty kick.
This is unreal. I almost missed that play as I went out to check the time and to find out about Dave Wolf. And boy, I turn around and there's just melee happening, and this could ice it. The Crusaders very good at these shots, but the pressure has got to be on Dave Cowie at this moment.
The senior All-American for Rochester, New York. He scored the only Crusader goal today. If he can make it 2, they win it. He is just tremendous. He's awesome at these goal kicks. And he's got to have the advantage because Leahy's got to be tired. It's cold. It's tough to move. Cowie finds one corner, and we are champs, national champs.
Okay, this is sudden death play. It's tied 1-1. As Todd said, if he puts it in, that's it. We're going to stay here for the awarding of the trophies if it doesn't take too long, if the Crusaders win here. So stay with us after we all get excited and cheer and probably can't say anything for a little while.
But the way this game is going, you can't count your chickens before they're hatched.
Oh, that's true.
And Leahy's a super goaltender, and it's down to Cowie versus Leahy, the senior versus the senior, and here it is. Dave Cowie, top of the penalty box. He readies himself. Everybody ready. The referee says okay. Cowie approaches the ball. He shoots. He scores, and they're national champs. Wheaton College are the champs of the nation, and everybody's running out of the stands. And there it is. We are the best in the land.
Unbelievable. The crowd, the stands empty out. The team is just in a box. Word on Dave Wolf, I said, it was his ankle problem. Hopefully not too serious. But nonetheless, they win, and I'm sure he's excited and doesn't even mind at this moment, except that he'd like to be out there in the middle of that crowd. Here he comes. They're carrying him out. They're carrying Wolf out to the middle of the crowd. And everybody, there's just a big mess of people right in front of the goal as they're all just celebrating and excited. And yet there's the dejected Brandeis team sitting around on the field, but they have nothing to be ashamed of. Second in the nation.
Just got chills all over. I don't know what to say. Incredible finish. It came down to that, and there it was, the mistake. One mistake happens, the Crusaders capitalize in a mistake-free game, basically, and Dave Cowie puts it in. He scores both goals, ends up with 6 on the season, and the Crusaders are national champs. They're the best in the nation.
As they're celebrating, they're going to attempt to get the teams and coaches over here in front of the press box for the awarding of the trophies. We've got the WGN Channel 9 minicam here to record this, and also us, WETN radio station from Brandeis. Everybody here to witness this celebration. They're roping off the area, so we're going to stay here for a few minutes and hopefully bring you the awarding of the trophies, and then after that we'll bring you right back to the station. So as the celebration's breaking up a little bit over there, just an exciting day here. What a game.
Insane. Who would have thought after the Crusaders lost their first game of the year, an incredibly disappointing defeat to the hands of Northern Illinois University, a Division I squad, that they would come back with 21 wins, 2 ties, not losing the entire rest of the season. And they do it. They're the best in the land. You can't say enough about them. And they're so excited. And now here comes the team into the bench area, just hugging and screaming and jumping up and down. It is fantastic.
Okay, they've roped off the area. The teams are coming back in, and we're going to stick around for the awarding of the National Championship Trophy to the Wheaton College Crusaders, their first ever victory in NCAA Division III soccer.
The last time Wheaton won a national championship was way back in 1957 when another team lost only 1 game. That was basketball, Division II, but that was a long time ago. It was 27 years to be exact, and here they are, national champs, the best. Wheaton College soccer, and Dave Cowie mauled by Tom Engstrom, and everybody crowding around just jumping on each other. There's so much excitement. This is great. This is something you'll just carry with you to the grave. You'll never see anything like it.
As we recap the game, what happened early in the game was a score off of a free kick just inside the penalty box, actually, by Dave Cowie, assist by the now injured Dave Wolf. That gave him the lead. What an answered goal quickly by their leading scorer, Steinberg, as he dribbled one in past Chris Hegman, the goalkeeper for the Crusaders. So it's tied up in regulation, and we went through 2 10-minute overtimes. We went through part of a sudden death until it came down to a penalty kick at the end, as the goalkeeper was out of position and had to trip Andy Taylor to save the goal. So it came down to a penalty kick between Dave Cowie and the goalkeeper, Jim Leahy. Dave Cowie proved to be the better opponent on that play, and the Crusaders clinched the national victory. And in just moments here, we will have the awarding of the national trophy. It'll be interesting to see the first.
Ladies and gentlemen, congratulations are in order for both teams in this tremendous championship game. Both teams can be proud, as both are great credits to themselves and to their institutions. At this time, we would like to present the awards to the runner-up judges from Brandeis University. Our head coach, Mr. Mike Coven. Assistant coach, Kevin Healy. Chris Peterson, manager. Junior Greg Allen. Sophomore, Tom Brady. Sophomore, Dov Bulka. Sophomore, David Cedar. Senior Captain, Glenn Conlon. Sophomore, Peter Chirowich. Junior, Chris Elsesser. Junior, Peyton Gibson. Senior Captain, Dan Groden. Senior Captain, James Leahy. Junior, Jim McCulley. Junior, Dave Mishaw. Senior, Todd Simon. Sophomore, Jeff Steinberg. Sophomore, Steve Stone. Freshman, Dana Violet. Junior, Mike Violet. Sophomore, Alan Ziskin. And freshman, Peter Morrow. I'd like to ask the representatives from Brandeis to step forward to receive the runner-up trophy. Presenting the awards are NCAA representatives Jim Sheldon and Ted Barkley, and Wheaton College President Dr. J. Richard Chase. I think we should all give the Brandeis team a big round of applause for a great, courageous game. congratulations to the individual players from Wheaton College. The head coach, Mr. Joe Bean. Student trainer, Sherry Kessler. Sophomore, Cam Roxburgh. Sophomore, Chris Hagman. Junior, Dan Matthews. Junior, David Green. Junior, Paul Helseth. Junior, Tom Schmidt. Junior, Jamie Brabenek. Junior, Pete Felsky. Junior, Tom Engstrom. Junior, Steve Shannon. Junior, John Page. Junior, Ed Metters. Junior, Mark McDonald. And Junior, Dave Wolf. Senior, John Searle. Senior, Randy Felder. Senior, Brian Weld. And the senior tri-captains, Dave Cowie, Tim Daniels, and Andrew Taylor. At this time, will the representatives from Wheaton College come forward to accept the national championship trophy? On behalf of the college, both colleges, and the NCAA would like to thank all of you for coming to this year's championship game.